keep this thing going. Let's see if I screwed up the Lena thing or how it looks. Spent a lot of time with Slavia. Oh yeah, I fled from helping of cleaning up. Coming to the canteen, I saw Olga on the porch. Don't you have some explaining to do, young man? Young man, she says, pushing him down. Now I remember what it was that I'd forgotten. Nope. How was your cleaning duty? Good enough. That's not what Uliana told me. That was all her fault. And what did I tell you? I ordered you to clean it up together. And what were you doing? I didn't know what to say, as deep down I knew that she's right. Don't blame him, says Slavia. Simeon was helping me at the library. Nice. Oh, really? Yeah. Well, that's all great and stuff, but to cut a long story short, you won't get the dinner tonight. How's that? Why? I protested. However, my protest looked more like a demand for a refill at the prison mess hall. Bold and daring, but still stupid and counterproductive. Hopefully that'll teach you a lesson. At that instant, Olga looked more like an ancient Roman legionnaire commander than a tiny pioneer camp leader. I had no idea how to oppose her. Forgive him, says Slavia. Forgive him and hold me responsible, says Slavia. Ooh. The camp leader took her time to think it over. All right, if you say so. Thanks, says Slavia. Thanks. We hurried inside. Well, I'm gonna join the girls. We had a prior arrangement. Take care. She smiled and waved her goodbyes. Seriously, where would I be without her? There were no free places near Slavia, and besides, I hadn't been introduced to her friends. It seems that I will have to share dinner table with Electronic and Shurik. There were no more places to sit. What's happening, gentlemen? Every time I had to deal with them, I got an itching desire to tease them, or at least drop some cheeky or cocky banter. We've seen this? Well, I have to go. In a couple of minutes, I was standing in the square. The loudspeakers and some DJ equipment were installed near the monument, and the trees were decorated with light strings. A typical country ball. A lot of pioneers were around, but no familiar faces. So I just sat on a bench and waited. I don't have to dance after all. Maybe I'll be able just to sit and chat with someone. Hey there, sad face, says Uliana. Here to suggest something. Oh, come on, let's dance. It's way too early. There isn't any music yet. Bah, you're so boring. Yeah, I'm not the merriest person for such an event. She ran away. So Uliana did wear something like an evening dress. Pretty funny. Hi, said Slavia. Hey. She sat down by my side. How's the evening? Fine. Why are you so sad? I'm not. Okay, well, dancing will surely cheer you up. Maybe. Don't forget to save one dance for me. She laughed and ran towards the music equipment. The situation was getting serious. I wouldn't be able to sit through the whole dance party. Hi, says Lena. Lena came closer. Oh, hi, you're here too. Is that such a wonder? Yes, okay. Gonna light this party up? The joke fell flat. Lena blushed and looked down. Well, maybe that's not the best idea, setting things on fire. Okay, then, I guess I'll... Nice. She left. smooth. Looks like the whole camp was at the square. The pioneers formed large groups, talked, joked around, and laughed. At the DJ's panel, Juliana argued loudly with Olga about the playlist for the evening. Well, here it is. The music started to play. I didn't know the band or the song, but if you ask me, I really felt that I'd tag it Soviet pop classics. The pioneers just stood there for some time as if not hearing the music. It's always hard to take the first step, especially if you're pretty sure that you'll be the only one who would take it. Juliana seemed not to grasp that simple truth. Well, just because it's difficult for someone, it's not difficult to everybody. It's good to see. I would argue it's a good thing that there are people like that who takes the first step without having any issues with it. Get stuff going, I guess. I'm not much of a dance party goer, but she reached the center of the square with a few bounds and cried out loud, "What are you standing around for?" and started to wiggle ridiculously. Wiggle is the exact word. You couldn't find a better one. It looked so silly and funny that I couldn't resist laughing. She noticed it. "Hey, Semyon." I pretended I couldn't hear her. "Stop pretending, come over here." I kept ignoring her. The pioneers slowly realized that they weren't too sexy for this party and started to dance. It looked really silly from my point of view, shaking one's arms and legs to the beat of long-forgotten hits. Come on, get real. So judgmental, so judgmental. Of course, I couldn't dance at all, but this thing couldn't be called dance either. So judgmental. Such an asshole, Semyon is. Hey, Semyon, what are you sitting there for? Don't you want to dance? I was so deep in thoughts that I hadn't even noticed Slavia. Not really. Are you sure? She smiled. Maybe later. Damn, what am I even doing here? One more invitation to dance would completely ruin my pride. I started to think about appropriate excuses to leave and was looking for the moment to do so, but then I saw Lena. She was slowly heading my way. Maybe we should go. Where to? I was so immersed in my thoughts that I didn't really get what she meant. To the infirmary, but if you want to stay here and dance. I doubt she was going to dance, but Lena had stood aside the whole evening. No, I'll pass. Let's go. At least I won't have to stand here like a shy nerd. Seriously, trying to conceal myself in the corner wasn't very pleasant. A bull in a china shop would be more agile than me on the dance floor. I didn't have the slightest intention of dancing in the first place. Well, shall we go to the infirmary? Lena brought me out of my thoughts. What happened at the infirmary? We had been just standing near the canteen for some time. Yeah, sure, thank you. What for? She looked at me in surprise. Well, for getting me out of there. I shouldn't have told her that dancing is not my thing. It's, so boring there. Seems to me you don't like dancing. There was not a trace of sarcasm on her truthful, evil, even childlike face. It seems like she doesn't really understand. Yes, I don't like it at all. I'm not into it. Me too. No one ever invites me to dance. Lena blushed and stared at the ground as usual. Strange. What's strange? Well, that no one ever invites you. You think so? Again, she looked at me with an expression of surprise and lack of understanding. I got confused and I couldn't find what to say in return right away. Yes, certainly. If you like dancing, I would have invited you for sure. Thanks. We didn't say a word for the rest of the way. Lena obviously felt too confused by my awkward compliment, and I just didn't know what topic to choose for a conversation. It was completely dark by the time. Wait, it was completely dark by that time, and the gloomy building of the infirmary covered in the night mist looked strongly like a haunted house. I felt a strong desire to turn around and walk away without making any noise. I threw a quick glance at Lena and noticed that she looked like usual, shy, modest, uncertain, but not in any way scared. Just made me even more uncomfortable. It can't be that she's not scared while I... Suddenly an owl hooted nearby and I shivered. Lena seemed to either not to hear it, or not pay attention to it, or just not be scared by it at all. That's weird. I hardly could believe the third option, but I didn't want to ask her about it, giving away my own fear. I entered the infirmary and found a switch in the dark. Will the nurse come later? She won't come. Oh, she won't come, I understood. Wait a second. What do you mean she won't come? Ah, I see. It is not that I'm afraid to be alone with Lena indoors at night with no one around. Only in movies does something happen under such circumstances. Only in movies? Well, we're in for a surprise, but for sure it happens all the time. It's just that I am with Lena and not with Uliana or Slavia, and it seriously changed my attitude towards things happening. There are the boxes. She pointed at a messy stack of boxes. There were about a dozen of them. It would take much more than 10 minutes of work. I put one of the boxes on the table before me and started to take out its contents. There were bandages, lots of little packs of bandages. Here, take this, and I gave me a piece of paper. There were some fields, and I quickly realized that I should put the name in the left, the description in the middle, and if there is one, and the quantity on the right field. It's not a database, but it'll do. It's quite literally a database. Not in the computer, though. The work started in full swing. Semyon. What? I looked at Lena. She stared at me for a couple of moments, seemingly making up her mind to do or to say something, but then lowered her gaze again. No, never mind. It was physically hard for me to just sit without saying a word. However, I didn't dare to speak first, not only because I couldn't think of a good topic for conversation, but that I was just feeling shy. This girl could easily be embarrassed by anything. Semyon? Yes. We're counting them all over again. Indeed, I had started to take out and put into the database the bandages that I had already counted. Oh, sorry, she didn't answer. Hey, where are you from? I mean, where did you come from? Meaning, where were you born? I mean, where do you live? Well, there's a town not far from here. Not far from here. Where's that? Somewhere? Looks like she doesn't want to talk about it. Is Lena hiding something too? It is explicable in the case of Olga, but in Lena's case, it's absolutely not like her. Is it a secret? No, just... So it's somewhere in the south too? I should have thought of something more original. Every single one of my sudden ideas turned out the wrong way, and this attempt to play spy worked out even worse. And I thought about South just because the only pioneer camp of the Soviet Union I remember was Artek. Yes, Then I hesitated to reply. I couldn't quite tell if she was lying or not. Don't you like it here? I wonder what part of what I said made her think so. Absolutely not. I like it here. My false friendliness sounded very insincere, grating on the ears. What about you? I like it. It's so calm here. There's lots of books in the library. And the people are nice. Haven't we had this conversation? But at a different location? Nice, but not all of them. Why? Did I really say that last bit out loud? Oh, turns out I did. Well, Liana, for example, she's like an Energizer battery with a completely unbalanced point of power application. Battery, what? Maybe I really was sent back in time. Never mind. Or Alisa, the saying a pioneer is the kid's role model, certainly doesn't describe her. Even if everyone started following her example, it would be a complete disaster for the country in 20 years or so. However, I think about it now, you can draw the conclusion that everybody did follow the example of Alisa in the 80s, where I probably am right now. She's not like that, actually. Not like what exactly? Not like what you said about her. To begin with, I hadn't said anything. Oops. I just stated the fact that she's not the best example to follow. Well, maybe. Excuse me? Sounds like you know her well enough. Some water in my lungs. It was kind of rough. Probably. I asked that question only to keep the conversation going. I didn't expect an answer like that. Alisa and Lena were so different. The idea that they could be close was unbelievable to me. We came from the same town, she says. As if she had foreseen my question. We have common friends, even though Alisa is 1 year older. Okay, it's a little bit strange. Oh, not like that. I'm just surprised. Everyone gets surprised. Lena smiled a bit. I took the second box. Analgenium. I have no idea what that is. Activated charcoal, analgesium, activated charcoal, saline solution, potassium permanganate, ferriticillin, and galenium. Lena always spoke in simple sentences. How can I communicate with her if every conversation turns out to be a monologue or just an awkward silence? Just remembered. Forgot to switch the Twitch thing. I wasn't quite satisfied with such a state of things. Sometimes it looked like she's hiding something behind her mask of shyness. But what? I read a book not long ago. Do you like science fiction? Not much. Damn, another failure. Well, if you don't like it, then what books do you like? Different kinds. The conversation wasn't going smoothly, and I had to turn it off. For the better. Who knows why, but I thought about the dance again. Feelings of uneasiness, discomfort, and even shame overwhelmed me once more. Looks like I'm not that different from Lena when it comes to such things. I am shy and afraid of things I don't understand or can't do. I should probably overcome my fears before anything else. And this will help me to understand her better. I've made up my mind. There's only a couple of boxes left. Yes. Hey, I've got an idea. How about we go to the canteen afterwards? I think the tape recorder was taken back there. What is it doing in the canteen? I hesitated. What for? Her sincere look made it clear that she hadn't the slightest idea what I am going to offer. Well, frankly speaking, I just don't know how to dance. That's why I don't like it. That's the reason I was so confused back there. Maybe I could thank you by dancing with you. But She stopped sorting out the medicine for a moment, blushed, and looked right into my eyes. I got a bit stubborn. It really was a stupid eye. It's okay if you don't want to. I don't insist. What if someone sees us? I certainly didn't think about that. It's not a big deal, but everybody's asleep already. No one's going to the canteen at night. How would we get in there? I should have thought about it beforehand. Well, that moment I regretted that I still didn't get my cell phone from the cabin leader's cabin. All got talked my head off and then I forgot it. Anyway, I had to say something to get away from this awkward topic. What kind of music do you like? Should have brought the keys. Damn it, should have brought the keys. Different kinds. I'm not really into it. Oh. Then let's imagine that it's playing now. I mean, that we hear it playing. How's that? Like it plays in our head. I still remember the melody the pioneers were dancing to. The music and words were really clear in my memory. I'm not sure I can do it. Can you just try? Probably. I've got her consent. In Lena's case, even that probably can be considered yes. Can it though? We silently sorted medical supplies for the rest of the time, writing down their names and quantities. I should pay more attention to every word I say after such luck. I stayed silent most of the time though. Soon we finished the last box. I gave Lena the filled-in list and started to stare at her, like I saw Bigfoot riding on a unicycle with juggling piglets. It was amazing, frightening, and above all, mesmerizing. She suddenly broke out laughing. What? That look of yours. What about it? It's just funny. Really? Yes. So, where are we going to go? Where? Her last words unsettled me. I completely forgot what we were talking about. Frankly speaking, I had completely left this world for a moment. Well, to dance. Lena blushed right away and her face took on a strange expression of shyness, uneasiness, and fear. Oh yes, sorry, I was just lost in thought. Let's go to the pier. I don't know why I chose that place. Maybe because you could run into a pioneer at the square, or in the residential area, or near the canteen, but not on the pier. That's what I thought, at least. Or maybe because of the large, bright moon reflecting on the water in the night. That's nice. It's a full moon today. Nice. I don't know how, but the solution just offered itself. That's actually a good pick. I like water. Like bodies of water. If you don't like it, then we can... No, that's a really nice place. Then I locked the door and we made our way to the pier. Night fell on the sleeping camp. Should we follow the road? Why? It will be faster through the forest. There's a nice path there. Well, there could be... Ooh, an owlet? I laughed. Oh, you. A shadow of displeasure crossed her face. Never mind it, sorry. If you want to. Okay, but can I... Without finishing, she grabbed onto my arm. Is it okay with you? Now it was my turn to blush. Of course. We walked through the forest. It was hardly a forest, though. More like a small grove between the camp and the pier. About 100 meters long. I would never think that there would be anything to be afraid of, even on my own. But it just seemed like Lena's fear was contagious. The branches swayed over us. I shuddered and Lena clung to my arm even more strongly. Don't be afraid, it must be just a squirrel. Yeah. We reached the pier. The night was really beautiful. I walked closer to the river and called Lena. Look, the pier, the boathouse, and the moon were reflecting in the water. It looked like another world with the surface of the water being being the door to Wonderland. You could just jump and find yourself on the other side. May I have this dance? I extended my hand to her, then bowed clumsily. Lena hesitated. I must have overdid it with my mannerism. There's nothing to fear. I'm not good at it either. Why either? She never said she couldn't dance, though it was kind of obvious. Okay. Lena gave me her hand. I led her a bit aside and gently put my arms around her waist. We just stood like that for a few moments. And what's next? Well, I don't know. Do you remember that song? Barely, but I remember. Great, let's waltz like in the movies. How's that? Instead of answering her, I carefully started to move in a circle with Lena. See, not that hard at all. Yeah. We waltzed for several minutes, or whatever you can call it. I felt her warmth, though we were not that close to each other. Her chest heaved heavily and her face started to blush more and more. Lena didn't look at me, averting her eyes from one side to another. I suddenly realized that I had never felt anything like this before. It was tenderness overtaking reality, as if I found myself in another, better world. I realized that I didn't want to let this girl go, and that I would give up anything just to go on waltzing with her forever. I clasped Lena tighter, and only then did she look straight at me. There was a surprise and confusion in her gaze, but no fear whatsoever. She wasn't afraid of me, and didn't push me away. And you said you couldn't dance. I really can't. I was confused. I didn't expect that reaction from her. Where has her confusion, shyness, and fear disappointed you? You too dance pretty well. I know. A playful smile crossed her face. Or maybe it just seemed so to me. No, I swear I saw it. How's that possible? The image of shy and modest Lena didn't fit together with this moment at all. What should I say? What should I do next? Just keep on dancing. I could only keep on waltzing with her in this dance, which was getting stranger with every passing minute. Semyon, where are you? The voice came out from the edge of the forest. Damn, worst timing ever. Semyon! It was Olga. She must have been worried because I should have been back a long time ago. I should have guessed that tireless camp leader would start searching for a lost pioneer. I should have warned her beforehand. Oh, there's no point in thinking about it now. Lena looked at me questioningly. Oh, sorry. Being seen together would not be the best thing. Oh, why not? Why? Let's go and tell her that everything else is all right. No, let's hide and return to the camp later. Her idea was strange. Everything was going so well. At least something was starting to work out, or seemed like it did. But what was that something? Okay then. I decided not to argue. It wasn't appropriate in such a situation. Olga shouted for a while and left. Let's go. Yeah. Lena didn't grab onto my arms on the way back. I was a little bit frustrated, but wasn't certain enough to take the first step. I kept silent again. It was not typical of Lena to start a conversation, and I just didn't know what to say after everything that had happened at the pier. She kept looking at the ground all the way back, keeping her usual expression. What a bizarre change, or to be more precise, what was bizarre was that smile on the pier and Lena's words. She stopped at the square. Well, I have to go. Okay, thank you for today. Yes. Lena turned around and headed to her cabin, and I kept standing where I was. What the hell was that? That dance, that sudden change in the mood, and then everything was back to normal. It was like I was embracing another Lena in that short moment. That's right, she wasn't herself. She seemed like a completely different person. Maybe I don't know her well enough. Maybe you don't. I had a feeling before that Lena hides something under her mask of shyness. It takes much longer than 2 days to understand someone, indeed. Damn, what should I do? Maybe I was just seeing things. I walked to the leader's cabin. The whole camp was sleeping, so there was no one to see me. So what? What's wrong with the pioneer taking a walk at night? When I was almost at the door, I heard a noise behind me. The branches of the bush near the trees rustled as if someone moved there. There shouldn't be any wild animals around here. Someone must have been watching me. That very moment I rushed in the direction of the noise, forced myself through the bushes and looked around. It was too dark and I couldn't see anything or anyone. There was no point in going on. Even if someone was watching me, he must have been gone already. I went back to the cabin. The light was on. The light inside was on. Looks like she's still awake. Semyon, where have you been? What do you mean, where? Me and Lena have been sorting medical supplies in the infirmary. I told you before that I would do that in the evening. Really? When was that? Took you long enough. I was in the infirmary about half an hour ago. It was closed and the lights were off. Well, we decided to have a little walk. I'm fretting about you when you're out having a walk. Well, sorry. I'll let you know beforehand the next time. Please do. Go to bed, it's late. Can't help arguing with her. Agreeing with her. Okay, and it was by any measure a hard day. I was too tired to think about the evening's events, and I doubt I would have any decent thoughts. The main thing is that I have not a single idea how to react to all of this. To Lena, to the camp, to the whole world. I practically haven't spent even a minute on looking for answers. Yeah. Moreover, I've been avoiding it as if the possible discovery scared me. And Lena, the time I've spent with her was much more important than all my attempts to return to the real world. I couldn't worry myself for a long time trying to understand what I did wrong and what I didn't do at all, but exhaustion came over me. Day 4. I woke up with hellish ringing. Rah! I was going to head for breakfast, and somebody knocked on the door. Actually, this will be a little bit shorter episode, but this is a good stopping point for me, I guess.